Weiter, we're going to be talking about some chizuk of realizing what we're doing by working on our Shmiras Einayim. Brings from the Chido that the main koyach that we have against Esav and Yishmael is the koyach of Shmiras Einayim, koyach of Kedusha. And this is the main fight. We're here. I think somebody came to Reb Chaim Kanievsky and asked him, is Mashiach is coming? He said, Mashiach is mamish knocking on the door. It's not just Mashiach is coming. Mashiach is here. And we have to realize that this is we are holding by the most difficult nisyonos. And our main fight against Yishmael and Esav, the main enemies of Klal Yisrael in the history of the world, and certainly the main enemies of Klal Yisrael today, both in Ruchnius and in Gashmius, Esav and Yishmael. This is our main weapons. This is what we're fighting with. We realize that, and maybe a lot of people don't realize. They think that you have better gun. You have a better rocket, you have more advanced security systems, you have this, you have that. This is how we're going to win. And it's Eile Berechev, Eile Basusim, Anachnu B'Shem Hashem Elokeinu Naskir. That's what it comes down to. L'maaseh, we send Shefa to Shemayim. The way the Derech Hashem or the Ramchal talks about how the world runs, we send Shefa to the Shemayim. Whether it's however it is, whether it's good or bad, we send up to Shemayim koichos, and from that, Hashem sends down here to earth. That is what we are. That's what our koichos have. Our Kodesh Baruch has the ability to save us, to help us, and in a split second. But He only is noiheg based on the way we are noiheg, and we send up koichos of kedusha. Then our Kodesh Baruch Hu will send down to us too. In the past, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us free gifts. Klal Yisrael was in Mitzrayim and the 49th level of Tumah, and they got out of Mitzrayim free. They didn't need to do anything. All they had to do was sit back and let HaKadosh Baruch Hu take care of everything. Now, they had schusim. They were in Mishana L'Shoina, Mishana the Begodim, or their names, but still Chazal tell us that they really didn't have any schusim. And it was only really in the schus avos that the Kodesh Baruch Hu promised the avos, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, that He would take us out of Mitzrayim and give us the Torah and bring us to Eretz Yisrael. It's only in that schus. But now we have the Torah. Now we have the ability we know what we're supposed to be doing. And maybe in Mitzrayim they didn't know, but we know. And because we know, we need to fight this battle. We need to send the Shefa up to Shemayim. Rav Don Segel brings from the Midrash Tanchuma in Vayigash talks about he compares Tzion to the life of Yosef. When we talk about Tzion, we talk about the Beis Hamikdash, and just like he says, just like the success of Yosef at Tzaddik was in the main areas we've discussed in the past of Shmiras Einayim, so too with the ultimate Geula, that the biggest nisyonos that we're going to have to go through will revolve around Shmiras Einayim. We are holy. Our neshamas come straight. Mitachas kisei hakavod. We are higher than the malachim, and because of that, what we do really makes a difference. And chas v'shalom, the opposite. Chas v'shalom, if we can destroy the world too. My Rebbe Finkelman Shlita many times has told us that Hayam Rav Ayanos, the sea saw and ran. What is this talking about? It's talking about the Yamsuf. The Yamsuf saw and it split and it ran away. What did it see? So Chazal tell us, what did it see? It saw Yosef, the kever of Yosef. What was the kever of Yosef? Oh, the kever of Yosef coming. Yosef Tzaddik was Omer b'nisyonos that we've discussed in the past. Unbelievably difficult nisyonos were revolving Shmiras Einayim and Kedusha Sabris. And in the most difficult circumstances, when he was a 17-year-old bacher by himself with no family, nobody was even searching for him. Nobody was interested in him. Maybe Yaakov was interested in him, but he wasn't searching for him. He was mourning over him. And he was able to withstand the Nisayon That's Hayam Rav Yanus. Many years ago, he compared this to the great tsunami of 2005. I don't know if any of you remember this, the great tsunami of 2005, the end of 2000, it was either maybe the end of 2004 and the beginning of 2005. I don't remember the exact date of what. It was either the very end of December, or I think it was December 26th. It was the very end. It wiped out about 250,000 people. Yeah, 250,000 people. And some of the hardest hit places in the Indian Ocean that were hit were Makomos of Male's Nus. Male's Nus. The fact that it was the beaches that took the major hit, it's also a sign for this. So I mean, Rebbe has told us in the past. What you see, Hayam Ravayanus, the Yam runs away, and yet here the Yam ran to you. by Kriyas Yam Tov, it ran away, and here it's running at you. It's coming at you. He's saying that it's the exact opposite. That when you're Mali Kedusha, the sea splits for you. But when it's the opposite, it's Mali's Nus, it's Mali Tuma, so Adrabah, the sea has the ability to totally destroy. And it has. Hopefully it won't again. But a lot of that has to do, obviously, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has din on everybody in the world. And, each specific person, I'm not here to give a special din, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends dinim on the Umas HaOlam in order to teach us a lesson, in order that we should learn to do better. We should learn to improve. That's what we need to do. L'maaseh, a lot of times we're very inconvenienced by this mitzvah. It's very difficult for us. We can't go on the same types of vacations that we would want to go on. We can't go to the same type of entertainment that we'd want to see. And a lot of times we feel like we're missing out. We're missing out. They can have so much fun, and we can't have so much fun. And those of us who know people who have experienced these vacations or this type of entertainment, and they know what the instant gratification that comes from it is. It's so much fun. It's so much this. It's so much that, and I want it. I want it too. Just like, and it's Mesiras Nefesh to be able to have to say, hey, I'm going to give this up. But really, in the end, a person gains a lot more. Not just only in Olam Haba, for sure in Olam Haba. We shouldn't forget about Olam Haba. Olam Haba is eternity. Olam Haba is forever, and Olam Hazeh is not. Olam Hazeh is very short. And we have to remember that. But even in Olam Hazeh, you're going to get a lot more. Not just you're going to get a lot more. It's like comparing something that you get a little bit of pleasure, but it hurts you in the end a lot more than it helps you, versus holding back the little bit that you don't get. I don't get this pleasure of this entertainment or this vacation or whatever, and the amount of reward I get for it. The Chazal tell us that a person should make a cheshbon. Schar mitzvah keneged hefseda, schar aveira keneged hefseda. We have to make that cheshbon. It's talking about in Olam Hazeh. It's talking about in Olam Hazeh, not only in Olam Haba. If a person doesn't watch that movie, or a person doesn't go on that vacation, or he doesn't look when there's something to look at, he holds back. So what did he lose and what did he gain? You know what he lost? He lost a few seconds of pleasure. That's what he did. Or a vacation, he lost a week's vacation that he could have had. He could have had pleasure on that week's vacation. And what did he gain? I'm not talking about in Olam Haba. Olam Haba is going to gain netzach nitzachim in Olam Haba. For sure. The pleasures he's going to get in Olam Haba are going to be unbelievable. But I'm not even talking about that. In Olam Hazeh, you know what he gains? We already started to discuss. He gains koyach over himself. He gains the midah of gvura, self-control, inner happiness. Not always looking for the next thing, which can go on forever. He's going to build a better relationship with his wife that way, which we also started to discuss in the beginning of this series. Much stronger relationship, much less nisyonis in the future. He's building himself a life in Olam Hazeh. He thinks he's losing, he's gaining so much more. And it's chaval when people don't have the ability, and they give in, and they give in again and again and again, and they just like, this is what I want. Somebody comes and says, Shmir Sinayim, it's only for married people. Yeah? I don't have to have Shmir Sinayim. Or Shmir Sinayim, somebody else said, Shmir Sinayim is, what do you mean? It's temporary. Yeah, it's not temporary. It's voluntary. It's voluntary, Like people have... People say about Shomer Negiah, like we've discussed in the past, yeah? It's voluntary. This is not voluntary. And Adarabah, even if there was no Isser, which there is an Isser, but even if there wasn't, it would be Kedai to do it anyway. Even if there was no issue of any form of punishment in Olam Haba, it would still be Kedai. Because the schar in Olam Hazeh a person gets from it, the life that he's building in Olam Hazeh, is worth it. L'maisa, we're coming down here, like I said before, to the end. This is the end of the road for Olam Hazeh. We're coming to Yemois Mashiach. We're in Yemois Mashiach Ba'etzim, and we're here with Pritzus and Tumah the world has never had before. Never had before. We are mamish experienced the Shar Nun, the 50th level of Tumah. Chazal asks, how can you can't get out of the 50th level of Tumah? How can you get in Mitzrayim? They had to get out just like that in a split second, because if they would have hit the 50th level of Tumah, they wouldn't have been able to get out. Yeah, but our Rabbanim have taught that that's because they didn't have the Torah. If they would have hit the 50th level of Tumah without the Torah, so then in a Chanami, they would have gotten out. But we have the Torah. So even the 50th level of Tumah we're able to get out of. And that's what we're experiencing. The Yetzer Hara is just, he's given reshus for everything now. Anything you want, in a split second you can have. You come to a computer, a few clicks, and all of a sudden you're mamish into 50th level of Tumah. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. The Yetzer Hara has shlita in this tekufa to try to. This is his last. This is the end of the game. Like the Gemara in Sukkah says, Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to shech the Yetzer Hara, and we're going to be there by the Levaya of the Yetzer Hara. As the Gemara in Sukkah says. Yeah. Person also has that ability to reach the 50th level of kedusha. And the more we fight, the more we put more kedusha into ourselves, the better we'll be, the stronger we'll be, the better people will be in Olam Hazeh and Olam Haba. I'm going to start to talk today now, just to continue on the next part, which is the Yetzer Hara. How does the Yetzer Hara work exactly? How does he get in there? How does he convince you that something that's so disgusting is just I just want it. I can't stop myself. How does the Yetzer Hara do that? So there's a klal that Chazal teach us. Kedai to know how the Yetzer Hara works is actually in Chovos Halevavos has a whole section. Chovos Halevavos in Shar Yichud HaMaaseh. Shar Yichud HaMaaseh. I think it's the Shar right after Shar B'Tachon, I believe. He actually goes through some of the ways that the Yetzer Hara tries to convince you to do Averis. So it's Kedai to see that. But there's a klal gadol. The klal is Mayim Genuvim Yimtalku. What's Mayim Genuvim Yimtalku? Stolen waters are sweet. There's a cup of water and you stole it. You stole the cup of water. Why? It's the same water. Why is this water sweet and that water, which you paid for, is not sweet? What's the difference? Where is that sweetness? The sweetness is the Isser itself. It's the Isser itself is the sweetness. When a person does something that's Asr, and he knows he's doing it, there's an excitement that comes from it. There's something that, a little adrenaline rush. I'm doing something illegal. I'm doing something that's awesome. There's a little... Yeah. Oh, that's already... Nasa Loka Heter is already a different madrega, Nasa Loka Heter. Nasa Loka Heter, I'll just tell you, an amazing... I wasn't planning on saying this, but there's an amazing makna, Sefer HaMakna in Kiddushin. The Sefer HaMakna is a fantastic, unbelievable thing. And we see that it's true. It's mamish amazing how he writes it straight out. He says the Yetzer Hara wants to kill you. He has no interest whatsoever in giving you any pleasure at all. He doesn't want to give you anything. He doesn't want nothing. It's not that the Yetzer Hara is willing to give you pleasure in order to get you to do a sin.
He has to.
He's forced to give you pleasure in order to get you to sin. This is a tool. He doesn't want to. He'd rather you sin even without getting the pleasure. He doesn't want, because pleasure is something that's enjoyable, something that's good. Yeah? Listen to this. It's unbelievable. So the Yetzer Hara says like this: I want you to sin. So he throws you a little bit of pleasure in order to get you to sin. And he wants you to do it again, so he'll do it again. And you'll do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, until the point where you're doing the sin because you just do it. At that point, he's going to start taking the pleasure away. Because you're doing the chait anyway. So why should he give you the pleasure from it? So you're going to continue doing the chait without getting the pleasure from it. And the people know that. You can feel it. Unfortunately, you can see this in certain types of addictions. When a person gets addicted, yeah. So what happens is that even that little bit is not enough anymore. If a person has an addiction to a certain type of drink or a certain type of drug, so the little bit that they have is not enough. They want more. They want more. They want more. They want more, because that little bit is not giving me the pleasure anymore. That's exactly the Yetzer Hara's plan. The Yetzer Hara doesn't want you to have that pleasure. He wants you to be choite without the pleasure. So the Mayim Genuvim Yimtaku is all fake. It's just a little bit. It tastes a little bit better now. And the whole thing came from Isser. The water tastes exactly the same. The whole thing is fake. And Yetzer Hara doesn't care that it's fake. He'll lie to you straight out because he doesn't care. He wants to kill you. So he'll lie to you. He'll throw you a candy here and there. He'll get you interested. And then he'll pull the rug out from underneath you. And you're still going to ask for more. That's what the Yetzer Hara does. It's all fake. I'll just share with you something I said in the past, but it's something that I felt myself, b'chush. When I was in America during the summer, so I was, Makomos, there were nisyonos there, where there were a lot of people, lav davka, they're dressed appropriately. And I felt at that time, I wanted to write it down. So I did. I have my little notebook over here. I try to keep it on me. And I wrote down about the Yetzer Hara. Here, this is what I wrote. Thoughts on a trip to America, July 29, 2018. Or Liyud Ches Menachem of Tovshin Ayin Ches. I thought about the way the Yetzer Hara works. There is this draw. He's pulling you. What is it? What does it offer? There's an illusion. The promise it offers you is excitement. It does have a real name. Really, the way to be magder it is Mayim Genuvim Yimtaku. It is the illicitness, the isser of it, that gives it the promise of a thrill of enjoyment that you can't get without it. It only lasts as long as you let it. If you walk away, it loses all of its power. If you analyze it, it dissipates into nothing. It just evaporates. And if you actually take it, you may have that excitement, that thrill, for a moment. But the disgust, the feeling of ich that comes with it, especially for a spiritually sensitive person, makes you feel sick afterwards. Especially because all the pleasure it offered disappears instantly. The key is to know this all before. Remind yourself all the time, especially when you will be faced by it. I experienced it. I know it's true. I know you gain nothing. You only lose. I know for 100% fact that it's true, but the Yetzer Hara pushes me anyway. And the draw is still there. It's always a fight. Rely on Hashem and cling to the Torah. That is the only way to win. This is what I wrote when I'm sitting there in the airport. It's staring me in the face. I know how disgusting I'm going to feel afterwards, but yet it's still pulling me. Person is always going to have nisyonis. The question is how many of these nisyonis are you putting yourself into lechatchila, and how many of them you're only in because of the matzah that you were forced into? We're all going to have nisyonis. Even the person, the biggest, the frummest, whatever, we're not all like Rav Chaim Kanievsky that we get somebody takes us from the door of our house into a van to wherever you're going, and you have 1,000 people around you at that time. It's not like, you fly first class, you get off the plane, you have people. We're not like that. They even say about the Baba Sali. The Baba Sali lived like that. Imamish lived in a way that was totally secluded from everybody. He was totally secluded from everybody. What? No, I'm talking about. Maybe it was Meir. The Baba Sali's son was like that. Also, that they was mamish felt that they were. But most of us are normal. We don't have that type of. We live normal lives. Unfortunately, we live in a world where even if you're totally disconnected, the nisayon will come. But the nekuda is: do I have to bring the nisayon to me? Or when it comes, I'll have to deal with it. But as long as I'm fighting the whole way through, so when the nisayon comes on the airplane or I'm in a public place and I have to deal with it then, but I've already built myself up to the point where I'm ready to face it. That is much, much stronger than a person who brings it on himself all the time. The less you are connected to things where the Yetzer Hara is, the more secure you will be, even when you have to face this issue head on. There's a very common misconception. And with this, I think I'll finish. There's a very common misconception. People make a big mistake. They think that, maybe this is more in the modern world, I don't know, but they think that, for our children, we have to expose them to these things so that they'll be ready to face it when they're adults. We need them to see it now, so that they'll be able to deal with it better when they're adults. This is shtusim v'havolim, mamish shtusim. It's mamish shtus. A person is going to be much, much better equipped to deal with these problems if he's had kedusha around himself in the entire time. That's when a person is going to be strong. That's when a person is going to have the ability to deal with these nisyonis. When a person is exposed to these things when he's young, he just sees something that's enjoyable and he wants more of it. It's not going to help him fight it when he's older. It's going to make him want it more when he's older. The Maisa, once you get older and you're able to deal with yourself, are you protected or you're not protected? Thank you for listening. To hear more shurim like this one, go to jfoundations.com. If you'd like to support us or sponsor an episode, go to jfoundations.com/support.